Welcome to Revisit Books podcast, where we turn books into bite-sized wisdom you can use every day.
Today we're tackling a big one.
A huge one. It's a topic that really sits at the foundation of, well, everything we do. Self-confidence.
Right. And not the loud, flashy kind you see on social media.
No, not at all. We're talking about that deep internal feeling of being capable, the kind that lets you face challenges and actually grow from them. And the book we're unpacking today, Confident by Choice by Juan Bendaña, has a really powerful system for building it.
It's powerful because it just flips the whole script on what we think confidence is.
Yeah, this accepted wisdom that you either have it or you don't.
Exactly. That it's some kind of genetic lottery. Bendaña just immediately says, nope, that's wrong.
He argues that confidence isn't a noun, it's not a thing you possess, it's a skill set, a practice.
And, most importantly, a process that's predictable. I
Yeah.
love the way he frames it.
Me too. He says if you could follow a recipe to bake a cake, or if you understand how to build muscle at the gym,
Then you can build self-confidence.
Yeah.
He uses the same kind of step-by-step logic.
and the proof is really in his own story, isn't it? He wasn't born with this stuff.
Not even close. His origin story, this journey of Gringo Juan, is what makes the whole book so credible. He started from a place of, just profound vulnerability.
It's almost hard to believe it's the same person. You know, now he's this top international speaker, but he describes himself in high school.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
That story about his English teacher, Mrs. H, pulling him aside.
And telling him, point blank, you are not a gifted speaker.
Can you imagine? That just sticks with you. It becomes this core belief that you lack some kind of natural talent.
And for him, it went so much deeper than just school. He had this intense identity struggle, being Nicaraguan Canadian, but, not looking the part.
Right. He was the Chele, the gringo. He felt like he didn't belong anywhere.
And that insecurity, it just spiraled. It manifested in some really destructive ways.
Absolutely. He talks about gaining 75 pounds, becoming medically obese, developing a binge eating disorder.
Which then led to this heavy reliance on alcohol to sort of numb that self-doubt.
And it all came to a head when he was just 20. He had to be rushed to the hospital for alcohol poisoning.
That's rock bottom. He says he realized in that moment he was just a totally broken person.
So the turning point is fascinating because it wasn't some magic pill or, some big external event.
No, it was a conversation with his friend Louis.
Who just seemed so effortlessly confident. Bendaña asked him what his secret was, expecting some innate quality.
And Louis just told him the truth. He said confidence isn't the reason you act. It's the result of your actions.
That's the whole thing right there, that one reframe.
It changes everything, from waiting to acting. And that's where he started developing what he now calls these micro shifts.
Tiny, deliberate steps. Small wins.
And look at the payoff. The kid who was told he couldn't speak becomes this keynote speaker for Disney, for Sony Pictures, for American Express.
He literally mastered the one skill he was told he'd never have.
So the book's central claim is just so freeing. It's that you can wake up tomorrow and decide to be more confident.
By following a system. It's not magic. It's like an engineering problem. It takes the randomness out.
But you don't need the right genes or permission from anyone else. You just need the tools.
The equipment, instructions, and process, as he puts it.
Yeah.
So who is this really for? One story is very dramatic. Most of us aren't dealing with something that extreme.
Right. But I think this framework is really for anyone who feels held back by those invisible barriers, those little voices and limitations that just stop you from doing what you know you can do.
We all have those. You've perfected a brilliant idea for work. You're on the Zoom call. Your hand is hovering over the unmute button.
And that little critic just screams, don't, your idea isn't good enough, stay quiet.
And you do. The moment passes.
Or maybe you really want to get in shape or learn to paint or launch that side project, and that same voice just whispers, that's not for you.
You don't have what it takes.
Exactly. It's that psychological friction that always shows up right when you're about to make progress.
And it's not just for people who feel they lack confidence. It's for high achievers, too. The book makes that point very clear.
Yeah. If you can finish the sentence, with more confidence, I'd be a better manager, or a better parent, or a better partner.
Then this is for you. The goal is just closing that gap.
It's really about getting off what he calls the walking scoreboard.
Oh, I love that phrase.
It's so good. He spent his early years just tallying points, A good date, that's a point for confidence. A criticism at work, that's 2 points for self-doubt.
Your whole internal state is just held hostage by external events.
Total hostage. To other people's opinions, to the economy, to just random luck.
And this system is for people who want to take that control back,
Mm.
to build their own self-surety, independent of all that noise.
You're choosing to be the architect, not waiting for someone else to tell you you're worthy.
Okay, so let's get into the actual system, the mechanics of it. It all starts with a really foundational idea,
It does. The first big takeaway is this. Confidence is a verb.
not a noun.
Exactly. We treat it like a state of being, like a destination you arrive at. But if it's a verb, it requires action, movement.
And his definition really captures that. He says confidence is to boldly, optimistically practice belief in your abilities and your intrinsic worth.
The key word there is practice.
Like practicing piano. It's something you do, not something you are.
But to even get to that point, you have to get past a few really common myths that keep people stuck.
Right. Let's start with the big one. Myth number 1. Confidence is genetic.
This is the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card, right? If it's genetic, well, it's not my fault, nothing I can do.
It's just fate.
But Ben Danya's own story proves that's not true, and the Ed Sheeran example he uses is, it's just perfect.
It really is. I mean, you look at Ed Sheeran now selling out stadiums, and you just assume he was born a star.
But he wasn't. He had a lazy eye from a botched surgery. He had a stutter. He was bullied constantly for being ginger and awkward. He had none of the, typical markers of a confident performer.
None. And his success wasn't instant. He spent years couch surfing, playing hundreds and hundreds of shows a year in London.
He built his confidence through sheer repetition, through one courageous action after another. He didn't wait for it. He earned it.
Okay, so that leads us to the second myth, which I think is a trap for a lot of successful people.
Confidence requires zero insecurities.
The idea that if you were truly confident, you'd never feel doubt or anxiety.
Which is just impossible. We're human. The most confident people in the world still feel self-doubt.
So what's the difference?
It's their relationship with the doubt. They don't let it paralyze them. They see it as a signal.
A signal that they're pushing their own boundaries.
Exactly. If you're not a little bit scared, you're probably not growing. Fear just tells you you're playing a big enough game.
I like that. And that connects to the third myth, which might be the most paralyzing one of all.
Competence must come first.
Oh, this one is brutal. I can't start until I'm an expert.
If you followed that rule, you'd never do anything new in your entire life. Think about learning to drive a car.
You start out completely incompetent and terrified.
And you build confidence as you go. It's not the other way around. He cites some really important research that shows confidence actually leads to competence.
Because it gives you permission to try.
Permission to try, to fail, to learn, and to grow. It puts you in the driver's seat.
So if confidence is a skill we can build, how do we do it? What's the engine?
The engine is what he calls the confidence cycle, or ECAP.
This is the core mechanism for those microshifts we talked about.
Right, and the whole philosophy is that real, lasting change doesn't come from some huge, dramatic leap. It's the slow drip of microshifts over time.
He uses the story of Bill Bowerman, the co-founder of Nike.
Yeah, who spent years just tinkering with his athlete shoes. He wasn't looking for one magic bullet.
He was just shaving an ounce of weight here, changing the tread there, thousands of tiny improvements.
And cumulatively, those tiny changes revolutionize the entire sport of running. That's the feeling.
So ECAP is that cycle. Let's walk through it.
Okay, so it starts with E, for microenergy. That's the initial spark you need to get moving.
Then C for microcourage. The bravery to actually take a step.
A is for microaction. That's completing the small step itself.
And finally P for microproof. The evidence that you did it, which then feeds back into the cycle and gives you more energy for the next round.
And the whole key, the non-negotiable rule, is that it has to start microscopically small.
This is where he brings in that great example from BJ Fogg about flossing.
The one little tooth method.
Right. The goal isn't to floss your whole mouth perfectly. That feels like a chore.
It's too big. So the goal is just to floss one tooth. Anyone can do that.
It takes no energy, no courage. But the moment you do it,
you get that hit of microproof. I succeeded. And that little win gives you the energy to maybe floss a second tooth. And it just compounds from there.
You're lowering the barrier to entry so much that you can't help but get started.
Precisely. Which brings us to the first component of the cycle. How do you get that initial fuel, that micro energy?
Most of us, when we decide to change, we just rely on willpower, right? But that leads to what he calls the willpower trap.
Yeah, and we all know how that ends. The gyms are packed in January and empty by February.
So why does willpower fail?
Because it's a finite resource. Your brain can only make so many disciplined choices in a day before it gets exhausted. It's like a muscle.
So you can't just power through everything.
You can't, you'll burn out. Energy, on the other hand, is renewable. It comes from excitement and intentional rest.
So we need to proactively add things to our lives that build that energy. He gives us 5 boosters to do that.
The first one is so simple: posture pick-me-ups.
Just changing your physical state. Standing taller, the power pose.
It sounds kind of silly, but the science is there. It chemically alters your internal state.
The author's skipping routine before he goes on stage is hilarious.
It is, but it works. He's terrified, so he just starts skipping down the hallway. That silly physical shock to the system changes his hormones and makes him feel energized.
And anyone can do that. Feeling down at your desk? Just stand up, stretch, take a few deep breaths.
The physical shift creates the mental shift.
Okay, booster number 2. Excitement anchors.
This is about intentionally scheduling joy into your life, not waiting for it to happen.
Like a date night or an hour to read a book you love.
It doesn't have to be big or expensive, but it has to be something you genuinely look forward to. It raises your baseline energy for the whole week.
That connects to booster 3, which is about people, chargers who build you up.
This is so critical. Your energy is relational. The people you're around either fill your tank or drain it.
And he has that 8-0-10-10 framework for this.
Yeah. 10% of people will love you no matter what. Those are your chargers.
10% will never like you no matter what you do.
And 80% are sort of in the middle. They can be influenced. The key is to stop wasting all your energy on that 10% who will never like you.
It's a waste of time. Focus on the people who support you.
You can serve so much energy that way. Okay, booster 4 is customized rest.
And this is so different from just, zoning out.
So different. The formula is stress plus rest, growth. You need the stress, the challenge, but without real rest, you just get burnout.
And scrolling on your phone for 2 hours isn't real rest.
No, that's often just more consumption. Real rest is restorative. It's intentional. It might be meditation or a hobby or just sitting in silence. You have to plan for it.
And the final booster is having a strong why.
This is your deep purpose, the thing that pulls you through when things get really tough.
The example of Dee, who was working like crazy to buy her parents a house.
Yeah, her why was so strong that the daily struggles and setbacks felt manageable. It gave her the confidence to keep going.
So that's how we add fuel. But we also have to plug the leaks, right? The energy killers.
Yes. The first 3 are things you should try to eliminate completely: toxic physical environments, negative thoughts, and poor habits.
A chaotic, messy environment sends a constant subconscious signal that your life is out of control.
It just eats up your energy, cleaning your room, organizing your desk. These are small actions with a huge psychological payoff.
And then there's the internal environment, our negative thoughts.
Oh, that internal dialogue. He asks, would you talk to your friends the way you talk to yourself?
Never. That friendship would be over in a day.
But we let that brutal inner critic run on a loop, just draining our battery.
So how do you stop it?
He suggests a simple physical interrupt, like snapping a rubber band on your wrist when you catch yourself in a negative spiral. The little physical sting is enough to break the thought pattern.
And poor habits are the third killer. The solution there is rituals over reasons.
Right. Don't focus on all the reasons you should stop a bad habit. Just focus on replacing it with a simple, positive ritual.
Like replacing mindless snacking with a 5-minute stretch.
Every time you do it, you're keeping a promise to yourself. And keeping promises builds confidence.
Okay, but the last 2 killers are trickier. Drainers, those toxic people, and stress burnout. You can't always just eliminate those.
No. So the strategy shifts to navigate, don't eliminate.
With drainers, you limit interactions, you control the conversation, you have an escape plan.
You manage their toxicity instead of just absorbing it. And with stress, you have to intentionally schedule that customized rest we talked about. You have to balance the equation.
It's all about managing your energy so you have that fuel to take the next step.
Which is the hardest one, crossing the bridge to micro-courage.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Courage is what turns that energy into action.
And we had this idea that courageous people are fearless. But that's not true at all.
Research shows that fear and courage can exist at the same time.
Totally. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's just the choice to act anyway.
So to do that, you have to get control of the story you're telling yourself. He calls this reframing flaws with yet.
I love this. It's so simple, but so powerful. When we fail, our immediate internal story is, I am a failure. It's a fixed state.
A final verdict.
But if you just add that one little word yet, it changes everything.
I haven't mastered this skill
I
yet.
haven't achieved that goal yet.
Yeah.
It transforms a dead end into a journey that's still in progress. You're not defined by this one moment.
You're defined by the direction you're headed.
And you have to choose that narrative. After he went shark diving, terrified, he had 2 stories available.
I was scared, so I'm a fearful person.
Or I was scared, but I jumped in with sharks anyway. I'm a badass. He chose the second one.
And that choice builds the courage for the next action.
Okay, so once you have that courage, you're ready for the third step in the cycle.
Micro action. This is where we have to fight our biggest enemy.
Perfectionism.
Ugh, it's the worst. The idea that if you can't do it perfectly, you shouldn't do it at all.
Which guarantees you'll never do it, because nothing is ever perfect, especially the first time.
So the answer is what he calls the Goldilocks step.
Not too easy, not too hard. It has to be small enough that you can actually do it, but big enough to feel like a little bit of a stretch.
And his story about learning to run is the perfect example of this. For years, he was told to stop running the second he felt pain.
His brain was just wired to quit after 150 yards.
But one day, he just decided to run 3 miles straight no matter what. And that pain showed up, right on schedule.
And his brain started screaming at him to stop, but he just pushed through it.
And after a few moments, the pain just vanished, and he ran the whole way.
That's it. Messy action is better than no action. His goal wasn't a fast time, it was just finishing.
And that messy action shattered a limiting belief he'd held for years.
So what does this look like for, the rest of us?
Well, if you want to start a business, the micro action isn't writing a 50-page business plan.
No, it's texting 5 friends and asking them to send you $1 for your idea.
That first dollar is instant proof. You have a business.
If you want to get in shape but you're scared of the gym, don't try some complicated class. Just go, get on a treadmill and walk for 30 minutes.
Just get comfortable in the space.
You're just taking one small, achievable, messy step.
And every time you take one of those steps, you generate the final piece of the cycle.
The good stuff. Microproof and the identity shift.
And the key here is focusing on output over outcome.
Yes, this is crucial. You succeed just by taking the action, regardless of the result.
So if you're in sales and you lose a big deal, the outcome is negative.
But the microproof, the output, is that you got in the room, you made the pitch, you were capable of competing for that deal. That's the win.
You have to choose to read that signal correctly. Not, I failed, but I am the kind of person who goes for big opportunities.
And when you stack enough of that proof, that's when the real magic happens, the identity shift.
You stop seeing yourself as a failure who got a small win.
And you start to see yourself as a winner.
Yeah.
The research on this, the Batman effect, is incredible.
Kids were asked to do a boring task. The ones who were told to pretend they were Batman and ask, is Batman working hard?
They persisted for way, way longer.
And nothing changed about them physically. They just adopted a more powerful identity.
And their behavior followed. You become the person you practice being.
You're no longer someone who tried running. You are a runner. You're no longer someone who thought about a business. You are an entrepreneur.
And that new identity creates a new, higher baseline for your confidence. It's a new checkpoint you can't fall below.
So what we've just gone through is, it's a completely different way of thinking about this. It's an intentional path.
It takes confidence out of the realm of magic and luck and puts it firmly into the realm of process.
Manage your energy, find your courage, take a small, messy action, and then celebrate the proof.
Over and over and over again.
So the question for you, listening, is what's your first step? What's your next 6 months look like?
Don't think about the huge, scary goal. What is the 1-ounce change you can make today?
What's your one tooth? What's your 3-mile run?
The funny thing is, that fear and doubt you feel when you think about it, that's the signal.
That's the indicator that you're standing in front of the right door, a door that leads to real growth.
You just have to be willing to take that first uncomfortable step through it.
Remember Michelangelo? He saw the David in that giant slab of marble, but he didn't get it out with one big hit.
It was thousands of tiny, deliberate chips, each micro-action revealing more of what was already there.
It just takes time and practice. It's time to take a deep breath and start chipping away.
That's today's breakdown. While this discussion cannot replace the book's full text, it can offer a glimpse into its teachings. I hope you found this discussion helpful, and I look forward to sharing more. Let me know what book next you want to discuss.